Yes, quite the spiffing day to go out for a smoke on the porch, wouldn't you say, Brecker? Yes.
The Undead Gamer.
What is up, guys? Rob the Undead Gamer here, and welcome to a vlog. Yes. Playing the Lord of the Rings online, obviously, as you can see here. But, yes, so, just getting straight into it. Earlier this week, Monolith Soft released a trailer, a new trailer, for their upcoming game, Middle-earth: Shadows of Mordor, which is a new Lord of the Rings game that they will be releasing. And as Lord of the Rings games go, obviously, if you know me, if you kind of follow me, if you've been on my channel for a while, or indeed on the Twitter or whatever, you should know that I am a massive Lord of the Rings fan, a massive Tolkien fan. There's one thing I'm a massive nerd for, it's all things Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. It's my thing. It's one thing that I'm extremely passionate about. And as far as fans of that have gone, as far as Lord of the Rings fans are, we've been pretty lucky, I suppose, as a whole, with the sort of games we've got about Lord of the Rings, or indeed Middle-earth in general. Just to name a few, we've been pretty lucky with some of the movie licensed games, such as The Two Towers and Return of the King. They were typical sort of standard hack and slash actiony games, but they were pretty damn good, pretty damn challenging. We also had a great RPG within that time, the Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, which was an awesome turn-based battle system RPG. Even from that, we've had, when Pandemic got hold of the Lord of the Rings license, we had Lord of the Rings Conquest. It wasn't up to par, I'd say, with games such as Battlefront 2. It wasn't sort of that good, but it was a still pretty damn decent game. And when as RTSs go, we obviously had Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. Wasn't the best of RTSs, however, it was still pretty decent RTS. Could have been better if it was a little bit more like Age of Empires, for example, but still pretty damn good. Also, obviously I'm playing now, Lord of the Rings Online, Turbine's MMO, pretty good, decent MMO, not the best, but a pretty damn decent free-to-play model, probably one of the most popular free-to-play MMOs as well around, and it's a pretty damn good, decent game. Also, even further than that, with Snowblind Studios made The War in the North, Lord of the Rings War in the North. Again, really good. Not the best RPG. Could have had a few more RPG elements in it, and was a little bit repetitive, but still pretty damn good, decent game, and a new sort of IP and a new idea. But now, obviously, we come to Lord of the Rings, or sorry, Middle-earth: Shadows of Mordor by Monolith Studios. Monolith, obviously fairly well known for their work on the Fear series, the Fear games. They also made Gotham City Imposters, which is a bit of a sort of I believe it's free to play, but it's kind of free to play. First-person style shooter, a little bit Team Fortress-esque, but obviously you play as either Batman fans or Joker fans and things like that. And they obviously also made the MOBA. I don't know if it is, I presume it's still going, but I don't know if it's popular at all. But the Guardians of Middle-earth, which was the kind of Lord of the Rings style MOBA game. But moving on to their trailer for the latest trailer for Middle-earth: Shadows of Mordor. Obviously, you've been following this game since it was kind of announced last year. Wasn't entirely sure what to think of it. Definitely a nice idea. It's always nice to see a new Lord of the Rings game and a new IP as well. And obviously, it's gone through the sort of normal channels, i.e. the Tolkien family, who, if they're not happy with anything to do with Tolkien's work, then they just won't allow it. And they're pretty happy, I suppose, so far with what they're doing. They've also spoken to Peter Jackson about it. He seems up for the idea. He's kind of glad that they're doing something new with the IP. They're not kind of like doing a sort of movie license game. Where are we off to here for here? Is that hallowed ground? Where are you? There, in Kellondim. Nice. Okay, right, back we go. So yeah, you know, everyone's kind of positive about it. However, we've had some pretty, you know, recent trailers for it, and one of the sort of gameplay trailers I saw a while back wasn't impressed. I've got to say, I'm not impressed thus far with the game at all, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's being released later this year, I believe in November time this year, for all platforms as far as I'm aware. But the game from the off, the first trailer we saw, it looks like a copycat game. It looks like it wants to be a Assassin's Creed game. It also looks like it's got the combat system, or taken the combat system from Arkham, from the Batman Arkham games. The game has been, I can't think of the word, but discredited, I suppose, for possibly copying assets from Assassin's Creed 2. Believe one of the old Assassin's Creed 2 developers came forth on Twitter and said, this was a couple of months back, by the way, but literally came forth and said, "Oh, looks like they've like taken some of Assassin's Creed 2's stuff, sort of movement stuff." I can't think of the word. The words escape me. I do apologise, but I'm stuck on this damn rock. Okay, but yeah, thus far not impressed. The storyline as a whole does look very interesting, and there are definitely elements of the game which do look interesting. For example, the Nemesis system looks like something very interesting, a very interesting system in a game, and something I don't think I've ever seen, and I don't think has ever been done before in a game, where you will fight enemies, and if that enemy survives that encounter, depending on how they survive or how you are in that encounter, or how well you fare in that encounter, will depend on how that enemy reacts to you when they see you again. If they do, that is, if they survive. And they will level up with you as well. So next time you meet them, they will be a little tougher to fight, but they will also react accordingly to how your last encounter was with them, whether that be that they're a little bit scared of you, or a little bit like, "No, I'm going to take you on this time and you're going to die," sort of thing. So that definitely looks really interesting, and it's something, I suppose, adds that element of realism, I suppose, to a game. And it's nice to kind of see and feel like you're part of the game, and you're sort of changing the world a little bit, which is always great. You know, I think that's a really, really great idea. But as for the system and the combat and the mechanics as a whole, it just looks like a copycat game. It's as if they have been like, okay, what is popular? What sells well at the moment? Oh, the kids love them Assassin's Creed games. Let's make an Assassin's Creed game. And they're like, okay, yeah, Assassin's Creed. Let's go with it then. And you know, it upsets me a bit, because I think there's so much here to do that it could be just so open. You know, it could be there's so many different things you could do. I mean, I think I personally have been clawing out for an open world Lord of the Rings RPG. That is what I want. That is what I've been wanting for a bloody long time. You know, basically Skyrim set in Middle Earth. That is what I would love to see. And you know, this game, it just feels like, oh, what's popular? What can we sell? And then put the Lord of the Rings license just over that. It doesn't look or feel like a Lord of the Rings game. The storyline does look intriguing. You know, it's sort of, I suppose, a typical story of revenge, with you playing this ranger. I think his name's Talion, I believe, or Thalion. But his family were killed in front of him by an orc chieftain. He was also killed, but then he's brought back to life as his body has been, or his soul has been infused with that of a wraith. So there's this whole supernatural undead element to him, which, you know, definitely, I suppose, opens up the game to some interesting mechanics and things like that. But again, it just looks so very Assassin's Creedy, with taking down enemies, jumping on them from afar, things like that. Even the eagle vision and things like that. yeah, and the climbing, the sort of parkour elements that appear to be in the game. I'm not impressed from that standpoint. But obviously the game, they're going through the right channels with it. Monolith are. They've got the okay from the Tolkien family, and obviously to make a game like that, it needs to be correct with regards to lore. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to do it. And they are they have got people who are clued up on the lore, and they're saying, okay, this is what we want to do. How can we do this, or how can we relate it to the Lord of the Rings, etc., etc. And that's great, and it should fit in, I suppose, with lore, and it could be it could have happened, I suppose. What's happening could have happened in the lore, but again, it's not impressed. And going back to the most recent trailer, which was a sort of story trailer of sorts, the trailer, so much I'm not impressed with it. So damn much I'm not impressed with. And I can't describe to you enough how unimpressed I am with it. There is dubstep in the trailer. If you've seen the trailer, you probably know what I'm talking about. But there's dubstep in the trailer. What relevance dubstep has to Lord of the Rings games? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. Music in a Lord of the Rings games, there should be a score. It should be classical. It should be Howard Shore-esque. You know, you wouldn't see them riding in the Pelennor Fields, riding to battle. The Riders of Rohan coming up, and they're just like, wah, 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 wah. It doesn't fit, and it feels like, oh, this is popular. Them kids love the dubsteps in the games, so let's put in some dubsteps in the game, or in the trailer. And I hope to God it's not in the final game, because if it is, Jesus, I'm really, really unimpressed. Really unimpressed. But furthermore, the story, the trailer, it was just like it looked like a Dark Souls 2 trailer with the old woman, and you're talking to the old woman, and because there's a whole thing there with the Dark Souls 2. I couldn't believe what I was seeing was a Lord of the Rings game. Aesthetically, yes, it looks great. It looks like a Lord of the Rings game. Obviously, the orc models have been copied somewhat, or are similar to the orcs that were portrayed in Peter Jackson's trilogies. But again, it looks like a Lord of the Rings game, but feels like it's trying to be an Assassin's Creed game or something similar. Let's do something different. Let's do something original. Please, there's so much possibility, there's so much that could be done, and instead it appears, oh, let's see what's popular, and let's just slap Lord of the Rings wallpaper over it. I'm not too deeply impressed. I will try my best to keep an open mind. Obviously, more information about it will come. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit about it at E3 in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be able to hopefully get a better picture of exactly what the game's going to be like. But as I say, it will be released this year, hopefully November. I will wait, as I always do with most games, for the reviews, see what happens. But I will be taking into account the reviews made by Lord of the Rings fans, by Tolkien fans, because that is the opinion I want. I go into this game as a Tolkien fan, not as a sort of video game fan, I suppose. And yeah, that plays well, that's good. Yeah, let's just go with that then. So hopefully, fingers crossed, something, it won't be as it appears, but never sure. But I suppose we'll live in hope. We will live in hope that it will be a fairly decent game, and something good will come of it, and it won't end up being standard. I mean, as I say, the Nemesis system looks very, very interesting, and hopefully there'll be more kind of systems like that to to get a hold of. But the storyline does look good, but hopefully, plus it's an open world game as well, but hopefully, fingers crossed, something good will come of it. I hope something good will come of it. I hope it won't just be this is basically Assassin's Creed just in Middle Earth, because that will disappoint me greatly. So yeah, that is pretty much all I got to say really on the matter, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, if you've got any impressions or any thoughts on Middle Earth, The Shadows of Mordor, please let me know. But this is just kind of my first kind of impressions over the information we've been given thus far from announcement to now. But hopefully, as I say, more information will open up the closer we get, and obviously E3 is coming around the corner, so hopefully there'll be some pretty decent information here for us to bite our teeth into and really find out what the game's going to be about. So yes, that is all I've got time for today's vlog, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rob the Undead Gamer, and please let me know in the comments down below if you're looking forward to it, or what your thoughts are or impressions are on what we've had so far with regards to the game. So yeah, I will catch you next time. Bye bye.